fired dozens of shots, perhaps more than 50. Remarkably, all of those bullets missed a baby who was sitting in the car that was targeted.
What's the purpose of shooting at a car when you know there's a child in the car? That doesn't make any sense.
He didn't show that he's still God by protecting that baby.
Amen. So far, no one is in custody and no arrests have been made.
Okay, real quick before we get into it, I need to say something, and I promise it connects. Just stay with me. Y'all ever think about how we live in two separate lives? There's the life you living when your feet is on the ground dealing with real people in real rooms. And then there's the other one, the one on your phone where you can cuss somebody out at 11 at night and cuss right back on somebody else at 11:05. And by morning, you done forgot the whole thing ever happened because it wasn't real. It was just the internet. Here's the part that's been sitting with me, though. Somebody somewhere is one message away from having the worst day of their life, not because of something they did in real life, because of something they typed. Gabrielle Ayers had a phone, same as you. Same as me. She put it down one Wednesday afternoon, climbed in a car with the man she loved and her baby girl in the back seat, and rode down 79th Street like it was any regular day. It was not a regular day. See, I need to tell y'all something about the men who did this. The nerve, broad daylight. 1:25 in the afternoon. 2 blocks from a church on a street with cameras on half the buildings up and down the block. And somebody looked at all that and thought, yeah, now's good. Let me pull up on a car with a baby in it and empty a whole clip. Sit with that for a second. That's not a man who panicked. That's not somebody who got scared, pulled the trigger one time and ran. That man planned his whole afternoon around this, came back around for seconds. Whew, the confidence of a person who has never once considered consequences. And baby, here we are 6 months later, and he's still out there walking around, breathing free air, like he didn't do a doggone thing. Chile. That's the story we unpacking today. Welcome back to Crime of Love. I appreciate every single one of you sitting with me. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, because we do this every week and you do not want to miss what's coming.
Bring your agent into Monday.com. Your Claude, ChatGPT, and Copilot agent.
Pick one thing to build a life around. Gabrielle picked 2, and she was doing both at the same time while raising a 1-year-old baby girl. At 1:25 that afternoon, 3 men approached the car. They opened fire. More than 50 rounds tore through the vehicle before it stopped. Gabrielle was hit multiple times. She did not survive. Devin was shot twice. He survived. In the back seat, strapped into her car seat, was their 1-year-old daughter. She was not hit, not once. Officers who arrived at the scene found shell casings inside her car seat. A witness who recorded part of what happened said afterward that the baby was crying, holding a lollipop like it was any other Wednesday. Now let's talk about where this case actually stands, because Chile, it is not where it needs to be.
Don't be silent. Don't sit back, because if you do, then you are a co-conspirator to everything that they do.
That's Father Michael Flager, and baby, when a man of God is out here talking about co-conspirators, you know the frustration is real. Here's where things stood in the weeks after this happened. Cook County Crime Stoppers put up a reward. St. Sabina added their own on top of that. $10,000 plus another $10,000 sitting on the table for anybody willing to talk. And still nothing.
We stand together. We continue to partner with one another. But you guys are willing to come forward and help us, give us information.
That's the police commander for the district asking the same neighborhood that just watched somebody get murdered in broad daylight to trust the process. And look, I'm not knocking him for saying it. That's his job. But you got to understand how that lands when you're standing on the same corner where the shell casings just got swept up.
You're going to see our guys out here in these yellow or orange jackets constantly engaging the community, putting out fires everywhere.
Now that's Joshua Coakley. He's what they call a violence interrupter. And baby, that's a real job. Real people walking real streets trying to keep the peace before it turns into another one of these stories we sitting here talking about.
I'll talk to her mother, and I've also committed to paying for the services for her as well. And we will be starting to arrange those over the next day.
That's community activist Jamal Green. And baby, that's real. While the reward money sat there collecting dust, somebody local stepped up to help bury her. And she wasn't the only neighbor out there hurting that day either.
I just can relate to what this family is going through, and it's very painful. And it just reminds me of that we need to get these guns off the street.
That's Demetri Brown, a resident who came out to that vigil. And baby, she wasn't just there to show support. She's been through this herself, lost her own grown daughter to gun violence back in 2021. So when she says she can relate, that is not a figure of speech. That's a woman standing on a corner grieving twice. And it wasn't just local folks talking either. This got all the way up to the state level. Illinois State Senator Willie Preston stood at that same vigil and did not mince a single word. Monsters. That's what he called the men who did this. Not misguided, not trouble. Monsters on this very land in broad daylight. And baby, I don't disagree with him. Now, here's something I got to be honest with y'all about, because I did my own digging on this one, and the reporting does not all line up clean. Some outlets say Gabrielle was taken to Little Company of Mary Hospital. Others say Loyola. Some say the men got away in a red car. One even named it specifically as an Alfa Romeo. Another outlet, a real one, said police traced them to a gray Dodge Durango instead. I'm not going to sit here and pick a side and pretend I know which one's right, because I don't. And neither does the internet, no matter how confident everybody sounds in the comments. Here's another number worth sitting with, too. More than 50 rounds went off that day. But when officers actually counted what was left behind, they only found somewhere between 25 and 30 shell casings. Now, of all crime victims in this city, while only being about 16% of the population, 16% of the people, a quarter to a third of the victims. Now let that sink in for a second. That is not bad luck. That is not coincidence. That is a pattern, and patterns don't happen by accident. Gabrielle wasn't unlucky. She was one of many. And baby, I want to know what y'all think about that, because I got feelings about it, and I bet you do too. Drop it in the comments. Tell me if you think this gets talked about enough, or if you think like me that it doesn't. Because here's what gets me. When it's a woman, a mother, sitting in a car with their own baby in the back seat, minding her business on a Wednesday afternoon, and some man decides her life is worth less than whatever beef he thinks he's settling. That is reckless in a way that don't even have a strong enough word for it. Reckless is running a red light. Reckless is not looking both ways. What they did was something past reckless. They looked at a car, saw a woman and a baby inside it, and pulled the trigger anyway. Over and over, that's not recklessness, that's a choice. And I don't care how mad you are at somebody, there is no version of that choice that makes sense to me. Now, Chili, remember that name I told you to hold on to? Gina. Let's go back to it, because this is where the story gets messy. Months before any of this happened, back in November, somebody dug up an old Facebook exchange. Under the name Gina, Gabrielle posted that she was fixing to put somebody's dead brother in a casket right there on the internet for everybody to see. A woman named Diamond Howard was not having it. came back swinging, talking about somebody named Rico, saying he and his people were going to handle her. Then she asked Gabrielle something pointed. Wasn't it her own people that got dragged out of car going on a mission? Now, baby, I need y'all to understand what that actually means, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's just internet slang for nothing. Going on a mission means going out to put in work, violent work, targeted work. That is not a phrase people use when they talking about something soft. Gabrielle claps back, says Diamond's brother got left on a hit. Diamond claps back again, says, no, he got shot, dragged out the car, blood left down the street, back and forth. Two women throwing real violence at each other like it was ammunition in an argument. Now, here's where I got to be real careful and real story. Now let's talk about consequence. And baby, I wish I had a tidy bow to put on this part. There isn't one. Nobody's been arrested. Nobody's in a courtroom. Nobody's sitting in a cell right now explaining themselves to a judge. The only consequence anybody's actually felt so far is grief. And in the middle of all that grief, somebody else showed up online, angry, unfiltered, saying something that stuck with me. That monologue was blunt, angry, not polished for television. And baby, that's exactly why I wanted it in here. He wasn't talking about Gabrielle directly. He was talking about the boys out there doing the shooting, the ones nobody's caught yet. I don't know that.
Yeah, we out here, nigga. People ask, what's out here? Nigga, we out here, we chill. Stupid niggas. They say it's wrong, but we doing right. We moving right, we in the loop, ducking, moving like shit. From noon to night, it's just the goons and the crew is tight. What you doing tonight? Just me and you when the mood is right. It's a loop with Sprite, cause we out, yeah. And my team always getting that green. Yeah, cause we out, yeah. And my team always getting that green. Yeah, cause we out here.
Minute Maid high, whip it up. Tree beef like cows in slaughterhouse. That's why we gripping up. Doing dirt on my own. Ain't no bitching up. Counting money talk election going on in my pocket. Stunting when I buy the bar. Change with Ted Dawson. He brushed me wrong. I have him slipping, grazing in the grass. She got an all you body easy slipping when I smash. She wanna feel the fire. Peebo Bryson. I tell her Jula pick up the pieces on this average white band. Like see mixed brown dope, it ain't 10. Damn, what he talking about? Money and Muslim before they come and chalk him out. That's what my talk be about. You ain't feeling what I'm saying, ma. Get out the car and walk it out. You saving me gas, me money, and not wasting my fucking time. Can't you see I'm on my fucking grind? Pretending like they not, but they are. So tell them get off mine.
They say it's wrong, but we doing right. We moving right, we in the loop, ducking, moving like shit. From noon to night, it's just the goons and the crew is tight. What you doing tonight? Just me and you when the mood is right. It's a loop with Sprite, cause we out, yeah. And my team always getting that green. Yeah, cause we out, yeah.